Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks very much for joining us this morning. We're completing our initial round of one-on-one interviews with the 6 major candidates for mayor of Boston. Our guest today, State Representative Jon Santiago of the South End. He's an emergency care doctor at Boston Medical Center and a captain in the Army Reserve. Representative, welcome.
Great. I'm happy to be here, John. Thanks for having me.
So, the other day, one of your competitors, Anissa Essaibi-George, was endorsed by former Boston Police Commissioner Willie Gross. Yet another sign of the prominent role that policing issues are going to play in this race. Just a few days ago, there was a high-profile spat between another competitor, Andrea Campbell, and the Boston Police Patrolmen's Association over her refusal to release some grant money for police. Several other candidates weighed in defense of Campbell and called the union a toxic force. I didn't notice your thoughts on that. Where do you stand?
Well, look, John, I'm really focused on my race to become the next mayor of Boston. Look, and I have multiple perspectives when it comes to the police force. I am a person of color who spent some time growing up in Roxbury in communities of color, who knows what it feels like to be pulled over for no other reason for the color of their skin. But at the same time, I work in the emergency department, working with the policemen each and every shift that I do, and understand that the work that they do and honor it. And as a person who's taken my oath to serve the country, I respect the badge. And my goal as the next mayor of Boston is really to improve morale within the police force. They've been through a lot over the past 14, 15 months with COVID-19 and the racial reckoning. But here in Boston, we have a lot of good cops that do tremendous work. And I'm committed to making sure that, we have great relations with the community. And I can say that as a state representative, we led the fight for common sense, bipartisan police reform. And I'm very proud of that.
Give me an example of something you do as mayor to improve police morale.
Well, I think, what we see in the emergency department when I work with them is that the increase in 911 calls as a result of the mental health crisis and the increasing substance use crisis that we're seeing, particularly in mass and CAS. And so what I see on the front lines are police taking folks to the emergency department, with mental health issues, with substance use issues. And perhaps, if we hired staff, mental health clinicians, social workers that were better equipped and trained to deal with those, as opposed to a police officer, they don't want to be doing that. I speak to them on the shifts. They want, to do the jobs that they were trained to do, not to do the jobs that other people could do.
You mentioned Mass and Cass, that shorthand for the intersection of Mass Ave and Melnia Cass Boulevard, an area of the city not far from where you work at the medical center. Where there are a lot of services for people who are drug addicted. There are homeless people down there. There's been a spike in crime down there. It's been a topic of community concern for some time. What's your plan to fix it?
Well, it's been a tremendous concern for me as well, John. I live a block from Massachusetts Avenue. I work at the epicenter there. I represent that area as a state representative, and it's one reason why I decided to run for office in the first place, because there was a lack of leadership, particularly from elected officials. And it's going on right now. Right now, we have a case right there where violent crime is increasing. Overdoses are continuing. Every shift I work in the emergency department, and I still work the Friday to Saturday overnight shift, I will take care of multiple overdoses. So I think a couple of things have to happen. I think as mayor, I'm going to seek to have a moratorium put on additional services there. Secondly, we really have to change our model when it comes to homelessness services. The idea of these large buildings and shelters, particularly in the age of COVID-19, we really have to move more into a supportive housing kind of network. Secondly, we have to just decentralize services, right? If you look at that, square mile there, we have a concentration of services and homeless services that is not doing the community right and not doing the patients right as well. And my frustration is that there's been a lack of leadership there. This summer, John, will be the worst summer of Mass and Cass. Last summer was the worst, and I'm expecting this summer to be bad because of the lack of investment, the lack of leadership, and the lack of commitment to getting things done.
Well, look, we have to take our break, but just briefly, as you know, there's a reason why, among other reasons why all those services are concentrated there, is NIMBYism. Most neighborhoods of the city, if not all, don't want this concentration and these issues there, and many neighborhoods have the clout to keep it out. What would you do about that?
Well, that's going to require political courage on behalf of the mayor, and that's what we bring to the table right here. But it's not just about decentralizing services across the city, John. It's also across the state. As the only candidate in this race from Beacon Hill, I have those relationships with the legislature and the governor to get that done. We have, there's state property at Shattuck campus, 16 acres, that they have committed to putting some beds there, but we need more. And we need vision, and we need courage, and we need a commitment to get things done. And I'm going to do that as the next mayor of Boston.